All right, everybody, welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures, and I want to welcome everybody tonight to the adventure. And right now, I'm continuing to work on a side screen here to set up something that I wanted to show you guys tonight. And I didn't think I was going to have time, and then all of a sudden, I seem to have found the time. So I'm sitting here putting it together right now. Grid 2. I got one more window to make up here and we'll be good to go. Call sign lookup. There we go. I don't know how this is going to work, but we are going to test it out. I got my FT8 working, and although it's not perfect, I can only run it at about 35 watts. I used a bunch of tinfoil today, and I was able to I was able to get it to where I didn't need to deal with that anymore, and so that's where I'm at right now. All right, here's what we're working on. This is FT8, and we're going to be able to switch to this anytime we want now. This is another function that's going to be available to me right here on the desktop. I'm still working on a few things here, like the overlapping. Let me see if I can fix that overlapping problem. Maybe. Huh. That's weird. That is weird. It's a very complex program, so sometimes things don't work exactly right. There we go. All right, that's better. Now it looks right. Okay, so anyway, on this screen right here, you guys can basically see the FT8 setup. You can see the screen with the contacts on the right, lower right. The upper right is the waterfall, which will be where we decide to transmit. And then over on the left, the upper left, that's the grid tracker. I know it's a little hard to see, but you can see the lines popping up as people talk to each other. And then in the middle box, the one right here above me, that is the information from the latest contact that the contact that we're trying to make. And so I thought this would be fun. Each night we can come on for a few minutes and test the propagation out a little bit. I don't have the radio hooked up, so I can't actually show you the front of the radio right now, but you don't need to see it because there's really nothing. Everything you need to see is right here on the screen. So we're going to see if we can make a few contacts tonight. I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad it's working, and we're going to see if we can make a few contacts tonight with the system. Let's see here. We're going to see there's a CQ in Ecuador. Okay, so I just double-clicked on it. And we are now talking, we are now transmitting on 14.074, which is the 20 meter. Well, thanks, Red. I appreciate that. And I needed to thank you for the other one, too. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. You have no idea. All right. Yeah, and today I went out and did POTA. I made 119 contacts on POTA. I activated 3 separate parks. I also hunted about 8 different stations during the day. So it was a great day on POTA. Thanks again, Red. I really do appreciate that. You have no idea. But yeah, there we go. So I did ham radio most of the day, went and took Mom to lunch. Brought her with me to a park, and she watched me work a park. That was kind of cool. She'd never really seen me do ham radio before, and she thought it was really cool that I was literally sitting there talking to people around the world, or at least around the country. So there you go. Okay, it looks like Ecuador's probably not going to be able to hear us, so I'll hit halt and stop the transmission, and then we'll let this run again. Why is all of our people out of state? Do we have any filtering on? Yes, we do. I did not turn that filtering on. I don't know why it was on. But I checked all the boxes because we want to see all of the stations. Now we should see United States stations coming in. Okay, yeah, I figured there would probably be a hum when I transmit. I don't think there's going to be much I can do about that. I had to take tinfoil and wrap the feed line from the radio as far out as I had enough tinfoil to wrap it. Now, when I go to the store tomorrow to buy cat food, I'm going to buy 2 more rolls of tinfoil, and I will completely tinfoil the USB cable. I've already got it ferrite trapped on both ends. That didn't help. So now I'm going to wrap tinfoil around the USB cable, all the way around it, all the way down the whole cable from the computer to the radio. And then I'm also going to wrap the feed line all the way down and out through the floor with tinfoil. And what that will do is hopefully take away the noise you're hearing. It'll also allow me to turn the wattage up. We're at 35 watts, which is all you need for FT8. But if we were doing phone, we would be at a disadvantage. Hey, there's Panama. Let's see if we can get Panama. So I double-clicked on it, 1,780 miles away. And if I was going to aim my beam, it would need to be at 169 degrees. So that's you can see all that right there on the screen. If you're still using WSJTX, once you get that working well, I suggest you upgrade to WSJTZ. Some hams don't like this. Oh, here we go. We got Panama. They're talking back to us. And we've got a contact. And you can see the man's face and all of his information right there, right above me, right here. There you go. Isn't that awesome? This is why I love FT8. I get to find out all about the people. All right, so there we go. I'm going to log that one in the logbook. That one is logged and is recorded. Okay. And he should give me back a 7.3 here in just a moment. There it is. All right, so there's my 7.3. So he has responded to me there. I think I'm going to move this over here because it doesn't need to be that wide. And then I can move this over. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to find a way to get the most on the screen at one time. Let's try that. There we go. Now you can see the other screen over there. There's not too much else to see beyond there. Let me just scrunch this just a little bit so we can see just a little bit more of that window. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I love FT8, and FT8 tends to get a lot of shit from ham radio people, and I really want to do a lot of FT8 on here. I want to show people how easy it is. I want to use this as a way to get you into the hobby. It's an amazing way to get you into the hobby. Okay, there we go. Now you can see pretty much the whole screen, at least all the important stuff anyway. All right, so now we're going to wait and we're going to watch these calls come in. KP5 stations. The intermittent hum is when I'm transmitting. Here, I'll transmit again here and we'll see. All right, so let's go for Columbia. All right, and then there you go. You can see the man's information pop up. Dom, that is awesome. I like to hear that. I'm glad you guys watched some of that video earlier. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and all that. I'm hoping it gets out there and gets wide distribution because I've had it here. Our DOT, and I'm not going to rehash the whole video because you guys watched it. If you haven't watched it, after the show tonight, go watch it. It's on the channel under videos. I did an in-depth video on this ignorant construction project that's going on. There's 2 of them. One of them is just finished. It's been going on for 2 or 3 years, and guess what? After the 2 or 3 years, when they're all done, it will actually move less traffic. Why are we tearing up 7 lanes of highway and not adding more lanes of highway? Why not save the money and wait till we can do the whole project and do it right, and then do it? Why does our government, they spin like drunk sailors? It's like, we got the money now, we got to spend it now. And somebody got it right in the chat room earlier. A lot of it is because they're doing things to maneuver for grant money, federal grant money. Just like that stupid bridge, just like everything else, they get federal grant money for these projects. And they do projects that don't even need to be done just so they can keep things moving. Hey, Carl, what's up? Hey, Eyes, Victor, Deploribus, Dom, Red, Junior. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We got a great crowd coming in tonight. We are working FT8. Now, I will show you guys, we do have the regular grid up tonight, and we will be checking back in with this. I got Christmas cams up. We got the volcano is finally calming down. There's not a whole lot going on, so we are following the San Francisco power outage. I've got maps, and we're going to be talking about what's going on with that. And also, we have a small situation going on now in space weather. It's not that big a deal, but there's a Solstice storm in progress. It's a minor G1 class storm, and it's in progress right now. Earth's geomagnetic field is connecting to the sun's basically magnetic field, giving the solar wind an unimpeded path into our magnetosphere. Arctic skywatchers should be alert for auroras through the rest of this evening and tonight. So there you go. Hey, there's a Texas station. Let's see if we can get that. By the way, I got that Columbia station. Anytime you see red, that's them talking to me. Anytime you see yellow, that's me talking to them. Anytime you see another color, that's a station that I need. This thing has a copy of my entire logbook, all 28,000 contacts or whatever I have in there. And it's all in the computer. So the computer searches, have I ever gotten this person on this band before? And if yes, I have, it skips them. And so I don't have to, I'm not calling people 2 and 3 and 4 times on the same band. So just like we do with contesting to keep dupes, to keep from having duplicates, we do the same thing with the FT8 software. It can be used to prevent duplicates. All right, so let's go back over here real quick. We'll see if we can make another contact here. For those that are just joining us, above me, that's who we're calling. Above that, that shows you the line of where we're calling to. Over on the other side, on the top, that's a visual representation of the radio spectrum or a waterfall. And then below that, that is the WSJTZ software that is decoding transmissions coming in on HF radio on 20 meters. Okay, so what do we got? We've got a, nobody's calling CQ, so I'm going to wait. I can click CQ only right here. But I don't want to do that because it kind of stops moving altogether then for the most part. I do still want to see what stations are coming up. You can see that Columbia station from earlier is white. Why is it white and not blue? Because I've already got him on this band. So if something's in white, I don't bother with it. Okay? I've already got him. I've already got November 7 Fox November. So the computer knows that, and it puts a white line for him. The blue ones mean I could still get them. Let's say it comes up with a weird reddish color or different colors. The different colors mean that different things, like it may be a new DXCC zone, it may be a new CQ zone, it may be a new grid square for me, it could be a new country for me even. And so anytime that happens, you'll see weird colors pop up. And there's nobody calling CQ right now. The problem is this band is turning into, this is a day band, and it's shutting down for the night. Dom, I agree. As a matter of fact, in the video, I talk about trying to go to all these meetings. I didn't specifically mention what you did, and that's a very good point. Oh, there we go. There's Brazil. So we just picked up a Brazilian station, 6,500 miles away. Now remember, this is on a daytime band, number one. Number two, I'm at home with this incredibly high noise floor. All right, Ecuador's calling CQ. I'll let this spin around and see if we can get him on the next pass. See, if I double click him and it doesn't transmit, it's because I waited too long and we were already through the cycle. Okay, so now we're transmitting to this station right here in North Carolina. And see, he's in USA in North Carolina, but that's a Juliet Alpha 7 call. I believe that's Japan. So he's a Japanese national that's visiting here, and he's using his Japanese call sign to work radio in the United States. That's allowed in most countries. I have 6-meter FT8. I would need to endeavor to get it hooked up. I've got a 6-meter beam up on the tower, but I got to run a wire up to it. I took the wire off of it. But yeah, if we were going to, if you want to do 6-meter in a couple days or whatever, I'll get it set up. I love the Magic Band. It's the wrong time of year for the Magic Band. Although there is some sporadic openings, usually right around Christmas and the New Year's, the Magic Band, or 6 meters, is usually best in May, June, July. There's Ecuador calling us back, and we are responding. So in other words, you can see there that I called out and said, hey, HC2FN, this is KO4EFS. I read you -12. And he responds back, KO4EFS, this is HC2FN. I received you at -17. So now we both got a signal report. So his initial call had his grid square too. And then boom, there's your I received you and he received me, and we are done. Now, if we were contesting, you would eliminate the last two conversations, the last two lines. All it is, hey, what? It's me. That's it. If you're not contesting, then it's, hey, what's up? It's me, my grid square. Thank you. You're welcome. It's a little bit longer. Okay, so I hope I'm explaining this well. I mean, they should have called it the Big Con. Yep, the Big Dig in Boston. I've heard horror stories. FTA is a great mode. The two different things that we use the most to monitor the band openings is FT8 and also the packet radio. What is it called? APRS. Amateur Packet Radio Service, I think it is. And those two services alone help us monitor the low band and also the VHF stuff. And UHF. Matter of fact, that DX map that we look at, that's where that comes from. Okay, here's another one in Panama. I thought we got a Panama earlier. No, I guess we didn't. No, we didn't. Okay, so again, if it's blue, it's a station I haven't got yet. And he's blue, so we're calling him. 1,780 miles away down in Panama. And remember, I'm only at 35 watts. You guys can buy a QRP radio and get it to work, and you can work FT8 all day long at 10 watts. It's a little more difficult, obviously, than 35 watts. I don't run more than 35 watts usually on FT8 anyway, because that's plenty. Yeah, Dom, I don't know exactly how it all works down here, because these were both state DOT projects. They do come down here and have their meetings and stuff. Okay, see, he can't hear me, so I'm going to halt, because what's probably happened is someone's on me. So I'm going to look up here, and I'm going to see if maybe someone is broadcasting over me. Let's see here. I don't really see anything, but I'm going to move over a little bit. I'm going to move my notice on the upper right screen, up at the top there, that little red mark where my cursor is. That's where I'm transmitting. I want to find a nice clear spot, and boom, let's call them again in Ecuador. Ecuador. If anybody has FT8, go ahead and get on there and try to call me. All right, we got him. What the hell? No, we didn't. I'm sorry, that's the last guy. I hadn't hit OK yet on the last one. Okay, all right, so there we go. And let's go ahead and halt that, and let's see what comes up. Let's see where we're at over here. Okay, we're at a clear spot. You want to go to the waterfall and find a clear spot to transmit. And then when somebody comes up, some people call people that are in the middle of conversations. I don't do that. I think it's a little rude, but a lot of people do. It's not wrong if you want to do it. KZ5. That's pretty cool to see a Japanese call sign in the United States in Florida. I don't know, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but that sure looks like that's what's going on there. Oh, I see. See, I was reading it backwards. That's a station here in Florida, in Cape Coral, right across over here, calling a station in Japan. I was reading it backwards. I have to admit, I haven't done a lot of FT8. I did 25,000 contacts on FT8, and then I put it down for like a year. It is a lot of fun. I ran out of people to talk to, I'll be honest. Now, I come back a year later, and there's all new people on here to talk to. But yeah, I kind of actually gave up on it for a little while because I had done it so long and so hard on 4 or 5 different bands that I pretty much had everybody that was doing it. And it would sit there for 20 or 30 minutes before somebody would pop up that I needed. Now you can see most stations here I can still do. Now, I wish we could do, what we really need to do is switch to 40 meters. However, I don't think I can tune to 40 meters. I can check it real quick, but I don't think I can. Let's see here. I just want to make sure this guy doesn't respond back before I switch the radio. Okay. All right, so all right, there's 7. Now let me switch this to 7.074. Okay, so there we go. Now we're on 7 meters. So let's see. Yeah. Nope. It will not tune to it, guys. It won't do it. It says no thanks. 10.135. Let me try that. The noise floor is so high on 30, I doubt it will hear anybody. By the way, FT8 and all digital modes are always upper sideband, no matter where you're at. Even if you're on 40 or 80 or 160, it's still upper sideband. Trust me, I beat my head against the wall for 30 minutes before I looked that one up. All right. All right, I'm going to try something. I know this ain't going to work. My God, the noise floor. The noise floor on 80 meters, the noise floor is 20 over. It's 20 over 9. That's worthless. So that's why I said I'm pretty much stuck with 20. By the way, I do not have rig control. What I had to do was give up rig control. The only way we could get the audio to work is to give up rig control. I'm not convinced that something's wrong with the radio. It's just shit drivers and crappy interface, and I've just pretty much decided that I'm just going to live with it. I don't want to deal with returning the radio and all that bullshit when I'm not even 100% sure that it's the radio's fault. I am pretty upset that they sold me a radio that won't transmit over 35 watts with the USB wire hooked up to it because it immediately cuts the sound out. You would think they would have put the USB maybe on the front or something so that maybe it wouldn't be quite so affected by the RF. And then, of course, like I said, the drivers are garbage, and they use a cheap third-party driver. Unfortunately, Yaesu does. I was a big Yaesu fan. I'm slowly losing my love for Yaesu. It's kind of going away, unfortunately. Kind of sad because I really had a love for Yaesu. I specifically bought this radio, and it just doesn't do a lot of the things it was supposed to do, unfortunately. I could send it back and get a refund. I just don't like doing that. It's mine. I have it. I'm just not. If I boxed it up and sent it back, it would get lost. It would never make it back. The next one would never make it back to me. I'd have to take a day off work so I could sign for the damn thing. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I can try 10 meters, although it's closed as shit right now. That band closed up hours ago, but we can try it. 28074. There we go. I don't see anybody on there. I think it will tune. I think it'll tune to 10. Yeah, it tuned. But it won't transmit. I can transmit at 15 watts. That's all I can do. It's ridiculous. This is what I deal with this. This is the third radio that I've had, and the third radio that does not work right when it comes to digital modes. Very disheartening. Oh well. Let's move on. I don't have the... I don't think I'm going to be able to put up a 40-meter wire. It's just too much. Heath, it's what's wrong, what we diagnosed it as, is the drivers for the sound device are conflicting with the drivers for the rig control. When we shut off rig control, the sound works properly. So all I have to do when I hook it up is just shut off rig control, set it for no rig, set it for Vox only, set the radio for Vox only, set the radio for USB input Vox, and then I'm able to go. Although I have to do it at very, very, very low wattage or it shuts down everything. Well, I'm sure the buzz was going up and down because I was trying different bands. See, I'm transmitting right now. You should hear the buzz right now and stop. I just shut it off. Other than that, there shouldn't be a buzz. I don't know. It kind of sucks. What are you going to do? All right, so anyway, let's just get back and do what we're going to do here. Let's just move on. All right, I turned it back up to 35 watts. This guy's in Chile. He can't hear me. It's orange because that's a grid square I don't have yet. That's why it came up orange. It went up to 50 watts and it's holding. Nope, he can't hear me. I got it up to 70, but then it started flaking out. Yeah, that buzz should have gotten louder. Heath, if you're talking about JS8 call, no, I installed that a long time ago when I was doing my Saturday night tech or Friday night tech net, and we installed it. We were going to do it, and I asked for weeks if there was anybody out there that could explain JS8 call or help us with JS8 call, and there never was. And I've spoke to a bunch of people since to tell me that there's nobody ever on there anyway. So kind of never really messed with JS8 call. Okay. Well, here's the thing, guys. I don't mean to sound sad, but my family's going places and doing things this year, and I'm going to be having celebrations for Christmas with different people, with friends and with family and everything. None of it is on Saturday, is on Christmas night or Christmas Eve. So I'm planning on coming on for a little while on both nights. And then on that weekend that comes after Christmas, I'm heading up to the middle of the state. I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I'll be doing on the road shows. It'll be fun. There'll be a lot going on. So I plan on being on pretty much every night. If something comes up, I'll let you guys know. But I do plan on being on every night. So if you're home and you don't have family, you know, I am going to come on for an hour or so each of those nights. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, FT8 is the only digital mode that people really use. unfortunately. There's another one that I'm very interested in called Hellscriber. If you guys have never heard of it, um, it's a really cool mode where it was made by the Germans during the war, and the mode is kind of similar to slow scan TV. You're actually sending it draws dots across a tape, kind of like a ticker tape, and it draws dots across the ticker tape, and you can see the message that way. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't have family, or a lot of people's family's not with them, and they're lonely. I am too. It's one of those things. I might as well come on here for a little while. Um, but yeah, it's called Hellscriber, Feld Hell. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you what it looks like because it's pretty cool. Um, if you guys have never heard of Hellscriber, um, man, I'm not doing well tonight. What the hell? Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. I've had a long weekend, a long week, and I'm just not really on it tonight too well. All right, here we go. This is what it looks like. Um, and each line prints twice because we know part of it's going to get cut off on the top and part of it's going to get cut off on the bottom. So everything is like printed 3 times. And you can see, but you can read right along with it. But that's what Hellscriber looks like. And it is a digital mode basically, but it's sending like analog letters via the mode. It's actually more of an analog mode, to be honest with you. It's not digital. It does not convert the signal into zeros and ones. It just simply sends the timed signals so that it prints out dots in a certain order. I don't think that's digital. I think that's analog. Um, yeah, I've lost a lot of family too. I mean, my dad's gone. All my grandparents are gone. My Uncle Bob's gone. Um, it's a lot different now than it used to be. Um, you know, neighbor, I was talking to my mom about that today at lunch. You you literally have amazing years when you're a kid, especially if your parents are really into Christmas like mine were. You have amazing years. You get amazing toys. You get everything happens and it's great and everything. But what ends up happening is for the rest of your life, you're now going to try to recapture that. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of your life, you're going to want that feeling again, and you're going to have a hard time finding it, unfortunately. Even when you have your own kids, it's there, but it's still not the same. And I never had kids, so for me, it's like it kind of sucks, really. Um, I love Christmas, but I don't know why. It's not even. We don't even give gifts anymore. We don't even do. We do get together and we eat together and we do things. We spend time together. That's what counts. But I don't know. It's just different. It's become very different over the years. Anyway, I don't know. Let's see here. I see that my camera's not on here. Let me see if I can fix that. Oh, great. There it goes. The camera did not want to work, but I finally talked it into it, one of those kind of things. I'm going to need to find a way to do 40. I need to do 40 because by the time we come on this show, 20 is shutting down. Um, yeah, and apparently we were looking at the rules for winter field day. You know, I joined a small group up in the middle part of the state. It's very hard for me to find a group of people I like. But I found it's a small group. There's like 12 people in the group. I like that. And they actively do stuff. They do summer and winter field day and different things. They got their own repeater in their community all set up. They do GMRS and ham. And they purposely did not call it a ham radio club. It's a radio club. And they did that because their enthusiasm is for radio, not just ham radio. And they do, like I said, GMRS and a bunch of other stuff as well. And so, yeah, I like that club up there. So I drive over 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes to go do stuff with a club that I like. I think my chat room's frozen too. Not going well right now. I don't know what's going on. I guess, I don't know. It seems like... Yeah, there we go. All right, so today I went out and worked POTA. It was good. I did the Cecil M. Webb Wildlife Management Area, which is right up the road from me here. I also did 2 other parks that are further out. Google took me all into people's backyards and shit, and I never could find it. I finally found it. It was out on the main road. It's just not marked how to get in there, but they do have a little park there. And it was, it was good today. I made about 119 contacts, I think, and it was good. I've already got my logs submitted to QRZ. I don't know if any of you work POTA, but something you can do is when you get home and you're using your ham 2K logger, because that's the best one. If you're using your ham 2K logger, when you export your activation, you go to the export and it will ask you, do you want the full file or the POTA file or both? Just leave them both checked and hit yes, and it will transfer right into your Google folder an ADIF file and an ADIF file marked full. What's the difference? This is really cool. Okay? The one marked full, you upload to QRZ, and then from there you can send it to Logbook of the World, and there you've logged all your contacts just like that. The one that does not say full, you upload that one to POTA, and you get credit with that, and everybody gets credit for the contacts on POTA. So that's how that works, guys. There's 2 different ADIF files, one for POTA and one that's marked full that you can send to Logbook of the World or QRZ. I can't deal with Logbook of the World. It's just such a horrible piece of shit the way it's set up that I don't deal with it. I pay $35 a year to QRZ so that they can deal with Logbook of the World for me. And I do all of my uploading and downloading to Logbook of the World through QRZ because I can't deal with those idiots anymore. Matter of fact, I've decided next time Logbook of the World quits, I'm done with it. I'm not going to use it no more. I'm still using it as long as I can just pay the $35 and let QRZ take care of my relationship with Logbook of the World and getting the data situated properly. If that service goes away or I don't want to pay for it anymore, I'm done with Logbook of the World. So I'm only doing it because there's still a lot of people stuck over there. Most people are moving over to Logbook of the Old Man or QRZ. I strongly suggest everybody goes to QRZ because if we all pick the same one, you can use as many secondary ones as you want. But if we all use QRZ, then we can all confirm each other's contacts better that way. When I first started, 2 out of 3 confirmations came from Logbook of the World. Now, 2 out of 3 confirmations are coming from QRZ, and only 1 in 3 from Logbook of the World. So the power is slowly shifting from Logbook of the World being the industry standard for confirmations to QRZ now being the standard for confirmations. And it mostly comes from Logbook of the World A, breaking down frequently, B, being a 30-year-old antiquated piece of shit running on a Commodore 64 in a closet somewhere. All right, and 3, you can't do anything with your data. You can't fix it, you can't modify it, you can't clean it up. And number 4, the interface is just terrible. The UI is garbage. And so 92% of ham radio people do not use Logbook of the World. It's kind of crazy when you look at it now, but a lot of the big people that are on a lot do. And so I still want to get those confirmations, at least for right now, but I will eventually leave completely Logbook of the World behind in the dust. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, there's Lindsey Graham, dumbass. Say, well, isn't he a Republican? They're all dumbasses. I can't stand any of them. All right, anyway, he's not so bad sometimes, and sometimes he drives me up a frickin' wall. Okay, I had a couple of these stories, so let's do those next. Let's see. You know what I'm getting sick of? Food allergy experts. Food safety experts. If I have one more asshole tell me how I need to cook my hamburger, I'm going to just freak out. I'm going to go off the handle and freak out and go postal. Because I've had it. I've just had it. You know, in Georgia, you can't get a medium rare hamburger. The government has decided how your hamburger needs to be cooked. Now in Florida, this is the free state of Florida after all. We are currently the freest state in the union. And here you can still get a hamburger mooing and pissing if you want. It's no problem. We have a term down here. We say, whack off the horns and walk it by the grill 3 or 4 times. And it's done. Please don't overcook my beef. And these restaurants are now being told in multiple states, especially blue states, they're being told, do not serve this, do not serve that. What they're finding out, and this is crazy, what food experts are now saying about it. Well, leafy greens. Leafy greens are now the #1 cause of outbreaks in restaurants, not meat. Doesn't matter how you have it cooked. Contamination patterns have shifted over the last 2 decades. This is an interesting story. Even foods most Americans consider healthy can pose serious foodborne illness risks. I get sick of these people. They sit around like testing food and shit. You know what I do? It's pretty scientific. If I go somewhere and it makes me sick and I shit it all out or I throw it all up, I don't eat there again. It's pretty scientific. One Seattle attorney who spent decades litigating some of the country's worst foodborne illness outbreaks recently told the Washington Compost that his well-done burger and steak order has prompted chefs to come out and ask what is wrong with him. That's because a real chef would get his hamburger cooked medium rare. If you watch, and I love Chef Ramsay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You know why I like Chef Ramsay? Because he's an asshole. That's why I like him. He actually says the way it is. And he'll walk in, and if they've got a burger on the menu, there's certain things he always orders. Okay? Always. Okay? Quiche. Weird things that are hard to cook like that. But one of the things he also will order on a routine basis is a hamburger medium rare. Because that is the hardest thing for a cook that doesn't know what he's doing to cook. Because they'll always under or overcook that burger. And it's hard. I stick something down in the middle of it and check it, because I'm not a chef and I have to make sure it's right for my people. My mom and dad, I grew up eating beef that was still mooing. We didn't eat it raw, of course. We cooked it, but we didn't cook it all the way through. It was red. It was a little thin line of red right in the middle. That's medium rare, okay? It should not be red. It should be almost red, right in the middle, a little thin line. That's medium rare. Now, if you go rare, now you're going to have more of a red line in the middle. I like my meat rare. If it's clean and good meat, I'll eat it raw. I don't give a shit. All right? Beef is some of the cleanest meat you're going to eat. Now, I'm not speaking of pork and chicken. Pork and chicken will both kill you. But beef is some of the cleanest meat you'll ever meet. And I am so sick of people talking shit about beef. You can't beat it. Beef, that is. Beat it. And I just, it really drives me nuts. And so when I saw this story, I'm like, I'm going to bring this up just so I can rail against these assholes that say I shouldn't be able to buy my beef medium rare. The greens are making you sick, not the beef. He says he no longer touches anything bagged salad. Bagged salads apparently are bad. Bagged salads, because they're cut up at a plant far, far away, packaged, purposely putting air in the package and then shipped. It's ripe for bacteria. Many say that the riskiest foods to eat now are not the ones consumers would expect to be the riskiest ones. The list of problematic items reflect how outbreak patterns have shifted over time. And apparently, let's see here, ground beef risks have decreased due to testing and cooking requirements. The cooking requirements I don't agree with, but okay. While leafy greens lack a heat step and are known to become contaminated earlier in the supply chain, where controls are harder to enforce. What they mean there is in another country before it gets shipped here. You know, you got to listen to how they say things. The contamination happens earlier in the chain. What that means, it happens while the cantaloupe is still in Guatemala. Leafy greens are also centrally processed, mixed in huge batches, and shipped across the country. This likely makes them the highest current risk noted. A single contamination event may affect many people before it is detected, tracked down, and stopped. In 1990s, hamburgers were seen as the biggest food safety threat, especially after the 1993 E. coli outbreak that sent more than 170 people to the hospital and killed 4 children. Children should never eat undercooked beef. I want to make that clear. It's not a good idea to let people under 16 eat undercooked beef. It's just a safety thing. So when I cook for kids, I'll leave theirs a little pink in the middle if they like that, but I won't leave it as rare as I leave mine. That's just a thing with me. Because I know it's a fact that kids just shouldn't be exposed to as much raw or undercooked beef. Today, the danger has flipped. Lettuce and other leafy greens now cause far more outbreaks than hamburgers ever did, largely because they're grown near cattle operations, can be contaminated by irrigation water, and are eaten raw with no cooking steps to kill any bacteria or pathogens that might be present. The lettuce on top of those burgers is a culprit. You're more likely to get bacterial infection or to get a pathogen from the lettuce on your hamburger than the undercooked meat patty. Ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. All those years. He said never eat salad or bagged lettuce while dining out. Seeing the victims have represented go to kidney failure and they need dialysis for life from one restaurant salad. Most Americans don't seem to think it will happen to them. About 48 million Americans get sick from foodborne illnesses each year. Roughly 1 in 6 people will get some kind of food poisoning this year. or next year. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, and we know they're always right, right? Yeah. And an estimated 128,000 hospitalizations and 3,000 deaths will be directly contributed to food poisoning. Most Americans are just completely clueless about what happens to their food before it gets to their plates, and that's true. Again, I know I eat corporate food. I eat Taco Bell all the time. I eat Arby's all the time. Why? Believe it or not, the big corporations have decent safeguards. I got a call one night. This is terrible. I was working as a patrol security supervisor for a local company. This was a few years after I had retired from the fire service. And I was doing jobs. I had previous law enforcement. I had previous managerial and business experience. So I could get a job right away that was, not an entry-level job. And so before long, I was already working as a patrol supervisor for a security company, which I hated, but I did it. And I got a call one night, and it's the guy at the burger place. And I'm like, what's going on? And he says, I think you should drive through here in about an hour, drive around back, and see what's going on in the dumpster. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says, the Chinese restaurant down at the end of the store and it was one I used to eat at, down at the end of the store down there, comes out every night after I take my garbage out and digs through my dumpster and picks things out of my dumpster and carries them back into their restaurant. And he says, it looks like a lot of old lettuce. I threw out a bunch of lettuce that was starting to mold. And he said they pulled it all out of the dumpster and brought it back in over there. And he says, and I that's got to be against the law. And I told him, I said, I'll do this because I work here, I patrol here, I'll do this. But I said, you need to call the health department and you need to report that to them as well. Because that's unsanitary, it's unsafe, especially with things like lettuce. Lettuce never gets heated up. So like it just said in this article, the bacteria, the pathogens never get cooked away. Anyway, my camera, I am completely have no chat room again. So let me reset up here again and see if I can get a chat room to come up. Your tab just crashed. No shit. Oh great, it brought me to the video. It's never done that before. All right, let me see if I can get back into my studio, guys. Give me just a second here. Bag lettuce sickens more than you think. It does, neighbor. It absolutely does. And I'm guilty about buying salad in a bag. I don't eat a lot of salad. So when if I buy a salad, if I decide I want a salad, I buy a Caesar salad and I'll buy it in the bag. Maybe not anymore. I don't know. Yeah, you know why the bag lettuce smells weird? I'm going to tell you a secret they don't want you to know. They fill the bag with nitrogen. There's no oxygen in the bag. That's why the lettuce can stay green for an extra 3 or 5 days. Because it's oxygen, the oxidizer, that actually creates lettuce turning brown. It's what ages fruits and vegetables. Hell, it's part of what ages us. Okay? It's oxygen. And if you, as you're sealing the bag, have a little thing in there, and seal it. Now the bag's full of oxygen. You can tell when you buy those bags, there's a certain amount of air in the bag. It's not oxygen. It's not any of the other inert gases. It's nitrogen. Nitrogen is the number one gas. But when you can put more nitrogen in the bag, that excludes additional oxygen out of the bag, and the product lasts longer. They do this with a lot of things. Walmart was packing their beef in nitrogen. Now they're back to cutting the meat locally again. Why? Because beef gets weird when you package it in nitrogen. It smells weird, it looks weird, it cooks weird. It's not bad for you, but it's but it's just not the same. Remember Walmart had those weird packages where the top was sealed and it was like a bubble? Those were nitro packs, the nitrogen packs. Okay? They got rid of that. They went back to wrapping the meat like normal. They cook it, butcher it down at a big place. They bring it to the local place and they do the final packaging there. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of lettuce anyway. I'm not a big lettuce fan anyway. I enjoy Arby's. Arby's and Taco Bell are my two favorite restaurants. I love those two places like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, Heath, you're right. Third world countries, they go shit behind a tree and they wipe their ass and they walk back and start picking your lettuce again. I hate to say it, but you're absolutely right. That's a lot of it. Just the process itself. Dirty trucks. They loaded the shit in a truck that had the shit loaded in it yesterday and loaded in it the day before. It's just nasty. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of lettuce. No thanks. All right, everybody. I do got a few more things I'm going to talk about after the break. I'm going to mention to you guys what we got going on with space weather. We've got a solstice. I could tell I'm tired. A solstice storm in progress, and we're going to explain what the solstice is and all that here in just a few minutes. So that's kind of cool. And so we're going to get to that. I don't have a lot of other, but we will be checking in, and also we'll go back and check FT8 again before we leave. There we go. Steak. It's the other red meat. All right. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I need to get up and go to the bathroom and do a couple things. So there you go. I'm going to do that. And one song, I'm going to play the ads during the song, so hopefully those will play during the song. You won't have to watch them after we get back. We're out for 5 minutes. As Chuck Woolery always used to say, we'll be back in 2 and 2. And we'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and my name is Ian. And we will be back in just a few minutes right here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The
All right, everybody, we are back. Mama Kitty and I are back. Hey, Mama. All right. Tomorrow is National Short Persons Day. So there you go. There's a day for everything, apparently. But tomorrow is National Short Persons Day. Yeah, they're working on getting that power restored. They're not saying it's a terrorist attack or anything, but it was definitely a big fire at one of their substations. I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but a lot of the equipment that you find in these substations is very unique equipment. We had a situation here about 25, 30 years ago. It's been a long time ago now. But we had a piece of equipment go out. It blew up. And we had to borrow equipment from neighboring co-ops. And they had to keep this running. And at one point, they were using fire hoses to cool this thing down so they could keep the whole town on. It was ridiculous. And yeah, the bigger the place, the bigger this equipment is, the more unique it is. That you know, transformer in front of your house, pretty common. They probably got one right on the truck when they pull up. If it's blown up, they'll throw another one on there and they'll have you back up in an hour and a half. It's a little bit different when you're talking about substations because that equipment is very specific to the load that goes through that particular station. And they may not have a backup for everything at that substation readily available. Yeah, I'm only 5'7". I'm not a real tall person. And I used to work with people that were taller than me, and they were always hitting their head on ladders and shit. I used to laugh at them. It's never bothered me for a moment that I'm not that tall. It's just, it doesn't matter. I have an average height. It's National Date and Nut Bread Day tomorrow and Mathematics Day. Boo hiss. Well, there you go. That's tomorrow. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. Oh, that's hilarious. Hold on, I got to show you guys this. Unfortunately, I have to resize it and all that bullshit. Yeah, for those of you who have people with Trump derangement syndrome on your Christmas list, there's a new product now that you can get them. It's the new, the perfect gift for friends with Trump derangement syndrome. There you go. I think it's hilarious. Oh my God, that's pretty funny. That I got to tell you guys, Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. People are going literally crazy, bonkers, on medication over it, crazy things like that. And unfortunately, it's pretty serious. But that's what happens when you have something very different than what normally happens. We're used to just one idiot after another getting in there. And for once, we got a guy that's not a politician and he's actually breaking shit. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here worth reporting. Okay, that's all we got there. Let me check the news again. Make sure that nothing crazy's gone on while we've been on the air. 60 Minutes has pulled another segment because of their blatant bias. Um, really, Donald Duck in Magic Land. I've never heard of that. Or in Mathematical Land or whatever. Never heard of that. Ooh. Mama, what are you doing? Interesting. All right, I've got it. I'm gonna look at it here in a little while. Um, yeah, it's on YouTube. I'm gonna check that out. It's interesting. I have a weird love hate with Disney. Hey, Mama, you're in my lights. Um, I have a weird love hate with Disney. Very, very weird. And I'll tell you why. It's because I have a love hate with Disney. I grew up in Disney. We were there every year. We spent days there every year. We went into the parks. We would, back then it was one big park. We stayed at Fort Wilderness in the camper, and we went to the different things and did all the different stuff. And we loved Disney. We absolutely loved it. And then over the years, it slowly changed into something very different. It changed into this liberal nexus where it really didn't represent a lot of the same values that I grew up with. Um, there is some strange movies. Disney himself was out there. I mean, let's be honest. Um, you know, I've studied Disney. There's two men that I find the most interesting two men that have ever lived, and you're gonna laugh, but Gene Roddenberry and Walt Disney. Those two men, those were the visionaries, the thinkers of my time. They were the ones when I was being born. They were the ones thinking about how the future was going to be, and I have studied both of their lives. They actually came together a few times in their lives too, like at the '64 World's Fair, and things like that. But the neat thing about Disney, he planned an entire utopia. He planned an entire way of life where business and home and corporation and government all coexisted in the same basic set of structures. And what it was it was a utopian, like a socialist. It was actually more fascist, but it had tints of socialism and tints of fascism, and it also had strokes of genius. Okay, it would never work, but it was neat to think about it. When Disney was originally built, okay, after he built Disneyland, he built Disney World here in Florida. All right, he wanted to build his experimental prototype city of tomorrow. Epcot. EPCOT. It's it's the experimental prototype city of tomorrow. And that's what Epcot stands for. A lot of people probably didn't realize that. You thought it was just a futuristic type theme park that was built. No, that was only part of it, a small part of it. The original plans for Epcot was a city, a fascist city, a shining, gleaming city on the hill. And I'm not a fascist, don't get me wrong. And when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, it's 1/3 socialist, 1/3 fascist, and 1/3, I think it might have worked. And here's why. It was not a government. It was not a country. It was not a new way of life. It was not anything other than a choice you could make. Yes, Mama? What can I help you with? It was a choice you could make if you chose to live there. And because of that, I agree with it. I don't agree with governments turning fascist. I don't agree with the United States turning communist or fascist. But I would have liked to have seen this. Because let me tell you how it was going to work. It was basically a complete design. It was a complete community. They made their own electricity. They made their own water. They treated their own sewer. They took care of everything. They built their own roads. It was all supported by the people that lived there. It was a private community, basically a large gated community. However, here's the difference. Your gated community that you might live in, it's just a community. That's all it is. What he wanted to build was a way of life, a city that you would never have to leave, a city that you would not need to own a car in, a city that you could live in with your family and be safe. Crime would be virtually non-existent, and your work and your school and your friends and your stores and everything that you need in your life, you just jump on that moving belt outside your door and it takes you right over there. He even had things set up in there like, okay, you don't need a car anymore. And you're going to say, well, but I still want a car so I can go do something. That's all part of the plan. They have cars. They have pool cars. And you sign up for one, you take it out over the weekend. You get 32 days a year. If you need it more than that, you can buy additional days. Think about it. It works. Your work would be there. Let's say you're an engineer and you work for General Electric. Well, you could work at General Electric's research and development plant that's right there at Epcot. It's literally the other end of the building that you live in. So when you get up in the morning, you say goodbye to your family, you walk out and you sit down on this chair that moves you down to the end of the building. You may have to get on a second chair and go down here, but within 3 or 4 minutes, you're at work. You never had to buy a car. You never had to buy gas. Yes, Mama. None of that was ever necessary. And I see his point, because it would have worked. And the only reason I agree with it at all, the only reason I agree with it at all is because it was not a government. It was a private venture, and you decide to do it. And here's the other thing. It was a hitch. In other words, you don't buy a place in there. You don't. You go to work for General Electric. General Electric offers you a place there. And it would be like a 3-year hitch. And you would go there to research and develop General Electric's motors or whatever you're doing for that plant, for that research and development. And then General Electric would get you a place there. And everything's paid for. You would get paid a lot less than you get paid here for the same job. But everything's paid for. Everything's covered. Electric, water, sewer, everything's covered. Transportation to and from work, cars on the weekend so you can drive to the beach. It's all covered. Everything was covered. It was a different way of life. It was a socialist form of lifestyle where everybody basically lived off of everybody. Like, you know, when utopian people start talking about utopian life, and it always like, oh, everybody will just do what they do and everything will be great. We all know that's crap. But this was a way, this was like a way to get close. And like I said, the only reason why this intrigues me so much is because it's something you would opt into and opt out of. I would never agree with a government doing this. But remember, this was a private corporation. You would sign a contract. You would know exactly what's expected of you. Your family would live there. Your friends, your kids would go to school right in the same quad that you live in. And the entertainment center, was what is now the theme park, Epcot, was going to be the entertainment district for these workers and for people that came as visitors as well. This was going to be so big. He had such big plans. He ran out of life. I hate to say it. If I would like to have seen what would have happened if Walt Disney had 20 more years, because he ran out of life. He died. And when he died, his brother walked in the next day and said, "Stop all that shit. Just build a theme park. Sell tickets." And that was it. And the dream was dead. A dream that may have never happened anyway, but I would have liked to have seen what would have happened had Disney been able to fulfill those dreams that he had to build the experimental prototype city of tomorrow, and to build it here in Florida, and to build something that people could go work and live in a sealed community. Basically, you could take your car and leave if you want, but it's basically you're in a safe environment. Now, I wouldn't like it. I can tell you right now, I would never have lived there, because I don't like the whole HOA, people in charge of everything. Everything right down to the paint color is chosen by committees of people, and I hate that kind of thing. I own my own piece of property. Same thing in Georgia. If I want to put up an antenna or drill a hole, I put it up, I drill it. I couldn't live in that thing. But there's a lot of people that love that. They love to live somewhere where they have virtually no choices at all. They go there and they just live there, whatever the paint color happens to be. And those kind of people would probably have adapted well to Walt Disney's prototype city of tomorrow. Yes, Dom. It's been tried before, and it does work to a degree. Yes, and remember, what's going on with Disney right now started years after Disney died. So it has nothing to do with Walt Disney or Walt Disney's brother, who I don't have any hard feelings for. He was a businessman. He did what he had to do. I don't have any hard feelings. I don't. I'm not upset with those men at all. What happened to Disney happened since then. The whole woke bullshit at Disney. And I'm going to tell you why. It's the culture. There's a culture there. What's the culture, you ask? Well, when you have a business where many of the people you hire, like 70% of the people you hire, are at the very least customer service representatives. Many of them are actually actors in stage shows. Many of them do street parades. Many of them go out and do the live characters on the side of the road. Many of them just work a little popcorn stand, but they have to do it in a costume and do it in a period and do, basically Disney's jobs are acting jobs. They call them, what do they call them? What's the word they use? I can't remember there's a word they use that basically means character in a show, and that's what they actually call their people. Cast members. That's what they call them, cast members. I'm sorry, I drew a blank. Cast members. They don't call their people employees or workers or customer service representatives. They are cast members, because the entire thing that Disney does is considered a production. Right down to the guy that's shoveling the poop on Main Street has a certain way he's supposed to shovel it, a certain uniform he wears when he shovels it, and certain things he's supposed to say when he's approached by the public. So everybody at Disney World, just about everybody, except maybe the guy that changes the light bulbs, is an actor in a show every day. Well, what has that done? It's created a culture where most of the people being hired by Disney are far left people, because where did they come from? They came out of They came out of an environment where they're an actor, and when we get to acting, we're dealing with a lot of people that are gay. We're dealing with a lot of people that are into the whole LGBTQIA2S plus thing. We're into a lot of people that are into the whole race thing. You're into a lot of far left extremist type people. And that's what's happened to Disney over 40 years. 40 years of hiring very talented, very smart, only the best people. It's hard to get a job at Disney, and it's a good job. At least it was. I don't know about right now. And so only the really talented get those jobs. And unfortunately, people who are really talented in acting, people who are really talented in performing and things like that, generally speaking, are far left of center. And so if you were to poll right now the people that work at Disney, I think 90% of them would be Democrat. So you can see where it's not just leans left, it's a culture of corruption, it's a culture of leftist thinking, it's a culture of just, we're always the victim every time, no matter what. And you can see what's happened, what that kind of thinking for 20 and 30 years has ended up ruining Walt Disney World. It sucks. It really does. I can't even stomach going there now. I don't think my chat room is rolling again. I'm going to try this in a different browser tomorrow night. No, maybe not. All right. Yeah, the Disney's problem right now is they've made it almost a hostile environment for men. Men don't want to go there at all anymore. Yeah, it sucks. What are you going to do? I'm glad it's there. I hope it gets better. I'd like to see it return to normalcy at some time. I think that would be great. Yes. Yeah, there's some of that too, deploribus. They do bring in a lot of foreign workers on visas. Disney does that, and of course that also helps to bring a leftist culture. I can't disagree with you, neighbor. Yes, everyone's different. We certainly have no problem with people being different. I'm one of the most accepting people you'll ever run into. I was for 30 years now. I've said I don't really care. I don't care what people do in their bedroom. But it does affect things outside the bedroom, and we are able to talk about that. I will not shy away from a discussion because gay people are involved, or because black people are involved, or because Oriental people are involved, or because I won't. I will still talk about whatever it is that needs to be talked about. I'm going to do it in a way that's respectful and not racial, but I'm going to discuss it because these things have to be discussed. Yes, ESPN turned to trash. You're not the first person to tell me that. I don't watch any sports, but I've heard they've got a lot of really woke people that they have promoted to on-air positions, and you've got a lot of people every week on ESPN. Somebody blurts out something that they shouldn't have said, and it's getting to be crazy. Yeah, I'm glad this is all turning around, because it got to the point where being a white heterosexual male put me at a distinct disadvantage everywhere I went. I'm immediately the asshole. I couldn't possibly be a victim, and I'm the reason for all the season, for everything that's screwed up in the world. It's me, hetero male, or as they call me now, cis Caucasian, or some bullshit. Cis male Caucasian. Yeah, I agree, Dom. You can go all the way back to the beginning of Disney and find strange, dark imagery. Um, and I think a lot of it is just you had a lot of very deep, smart people working on these productions, and I think you're seeing those personalities in a lot of them. But it is weird. It's almost like some of them were almost like for a purpose. They were doing that for a purpose. I don't know. I do agree with what you're saying. Um, yeah, yeah. No, no, they don't. Okay. So anyway, I my love hate with Disney continues. I won't go up there right now. I won't spend my money there. If I had a free ticket, I might go. I would literally pack a sandwich so I didn't have to buy food there. I just don't. I don't know. I want to go back to Disney. I love Disney because I'm into lighting and I'm into special effects and I'm into cast and crew I'm into productions and shows and I'm always the one that's saying the curtain must rise. And so I would love to go to Disney. I used to love going to Disney. I would go to Disney and sit in the back and just watch how everything's done. And then I would sit through the next show again. Um, I loved seeing how they did special effects and all that stuff, but I can't stomach it anymore. Um, yeah, and Disney was an eccentric guy, just like most very popular, very smart, cutting edge people are. He was eccentric, and yeah, there was definitely those were there. Yeah, yeah, it's gotten ridiculous. A standard ticket for a Florida resident's about $200 um, for one day. It's ridiculous. I can remember not long ago when we were bitching because it was $100 for a Florida resident. Um, yeah, I definitely preferred the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner cartoons. I definitely preferred those over some of the Disney cartoons. The Disney cartoons were a little more kid-ish, where the some some of those Warner Brothers cartoons were a little more adult than I think people realize. Um, yeah, one day at Disney can do you a number, and then where it really gets bad, knock it all over, little kitty. Where it really gets bad is the extras. Okay, so you and your wife and your two kids, okay, just spent $700 to get in the park for one day. Now, did you stay on property? Because it's 1,200 bucks a night to stay on property. Now you do get a discount on the tickets. The only way to go, if you're going to go do Disney big, do Disney big. Seriously. If you're going to do it, take a loan and do it. Um, don't, you know, if you have to do it on a shoestring, you can stay out on Earl Bronson off property for about $100 a night, and then just commute in and pay to park. But you remember, when you start looking at Disney properties to stay at, you take that $35 parking pass away. So every night you stay in a Disney hotel, you don't have to pay the $35 parking pass. So I paid $100 for a hotel and a $35 parking pass, so $135 a night. If you were to stay on Disney property, it's probably closer to $1,000 a night. So even if they gave you the tickets for half price, you're still hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars above what it would cost to go the other route. So I don't know. You can strategically do it. I'm going to give you some advice if you're going to Disney World. September. September. It's the slowest month of the year. Why? Kids are going back to school, starting to come into the holidays. People are starting to change their thinking on stuff. We're coming into fall. And because of all these reasons, September, especially the second half of September, is the slowest day. If I was going to go, I think it's September 21st this year or whatever. You literally, there's a website. You can look up what's the slowest day of the year for Disney World. And that's when you book your trip. Yeah, and I would book it way ahead of time. You get a better deal when you book it way ahead of time. And I would buy a package. If I was going to go all out, buy the package. Tickets, everything. You can even go through a travel agent and get the tickets and get the room on property and get the flight and get everything all wrapped into one big price. That is still the cheapest way to do it if you're going to go with the expensive plan, if that makes sense. If you're going to go all out, then do it right. Get a travel agent to book it all for you. And I don't normally even recommend travel agent, but this is one where I would. They can get you a deal. Wawa said, yep, Foghorn Leghorn. Rocky and Bullwinkle, boy, that's going back. What show was that? I'm trying to think. It was because it wasn't the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, was it? I thought that was one of the cartoons in a larger show. But yeah, I definitely remember Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky was like a squirrel, I think. Yes, that's true. If you buy a 4-day pass, you have to use it with your driver's license. You can't give it away anymore. Number two, you have very narrow windows to use it. Some of the passes are on set days. Other ones you can get windows. They're a little more money that way. Yeah, there's all I can tell you with Disney is do your research, look at the websites, figure out as much as you can before you go and make it worth your while. And you might want to see if it is worth you doing something like I guess that wasn't charging fast enough. Always buy bundles, always buy group pass, anything you can do to make your prices go down. Yeah, the Teletubbies, I think, are part of what's wrong with youth today. When you look at the 20-somethings today and all the problems and all the weirdness and all the stupid shit, all you got to do is go back and look at that big purple dinosaur. What was that idiot's name? Barney or whatever. And look at all the stupid shit. Look at the leftist Sesame Street. You talk about the entire production of Sesame Street over the last 10 years has been used to indoctrinate our children into the LGBTQIA2S victim club. And it's amazing to me. Now, it's always been a part of Sesame Street. I mean, Bert and Ernie have been living together a long time, if you know what I mean. It's always been there. The undertones have always been there, going back all the way 50, 60 years ago when it started on public broadcasting. Then Sesame Street has always been leftist. They've always had those subtle undertones in there that are not so subtle anymore. So even back when you may have been a kid watching watching Sesame Street, you were being indoctrinated. You were being taught the way you're supposed to think about things. Barney, that big purple bastard. I never saw the purpose for that thing. He sucked. He was cumbersome. He was an idiot. He couldn't cook. What's he good for? Anyway. Bullwinkle. And they used a moose. Yeah. Yeah, Sesame Street, it woke from the start, man. Yeah. Yeah, woke from the start. And guess what? We're defunding PBS. We're defunding NPR. Let them survive like everybody else. My broadcast company spends tens of thousands, even in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to get broadcast licenses. And our competition over there, NPR and PBS, they get free broadcast licenses. But you want to know what else? They get free help at the universities. We have to hire all of our people full price. They get free facilities that are paid for by the government. We have to buy our station. We have to clean it. We have to maintain it. We have to build it. We have to do everything with our station. They got everything provided for them. And then we have to do good, because if we don't do good, our ratings go down and we lose our commercials. We lose the money, the spots. And if we lose our money that we make on spots, they have to start laying us off and canceling programming. At PBS, it doesn't matter. The lights stay on. The power bill's covered by the government. Now, name somewhere else in the world where your competition is completely paid for by the government. But you, on the other hand, are charged tens of thousands of dollars by the government to do what you do. And then that money that you pay FCC for that license, a lot of that same money gets turned around and is given to my competition. They're in the same ratings book as me. We kick their ass. But they're in the same ratings book that we are. Going up against for the same commercials we are and the same money that we're chasing. And yet, they do it with a free building and a free light bill and no broadcast charges and no licensing fees. It's crazy. Where else does that exist? It's just nuts. Yep. Yeah, that whole television workshop thing, that whole thing's a scam. Making money hand over fist. Just ridiculous. And you know, here's the thing that gets me. They came out at a press conference and said they're canceling PBS. They're shutting down PBS. The government's canceling funding for PBS. How are we going to survive? How are we going to keep Sesame Street on TV? And then they made the statement that drove me through the roof. They said, how will our children learn their ABCs in the future? We have 10,000 episodes of Sesame Street on tape. The alphabet hadn't changed a bit. The numbers are the same numbers. Oscar's still a grouch. Snuffleupagus still only shows up about every 7 episodes. What's the difference? Why do we need new episodes? What's wrong with the old ones? Kermit the Frog can teach my kid the alphabet from 1978. I don't understand. Oh, that's right. Because every decade it got a lot more woke and a lot more direct and a lot more in your effing face. And so because of that, they had to keep making new ones to keep pushing that envelope and pushing that envelope. They don't want you watching the old ones because they won't indoctrinate your kids near as good as the new ones do. Yeah, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner. That was my favorite cartoons growing up. I liked it. I used to like certain ones, like the Bugs Bunny, the Roadrunner ones I used to love. I don't know why. The Coyote, those were some of my favorites. I also like the one with the Martian guy in it. It's the ammonium P-32 space modulator. I used to love those. I don't know why. They were in space. They were so stupid, but I used to love those. Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about it, but yeah, it is the same kind of font, isn't it? Never really thought about it. I like Popeyes. I think they've gotten a little ridiculous with the price. Chicken's still the cheapest meat out there, and you're charging me $10 for 3 chicken strips? Marvin the Martian, that was him. Marvin the Martian. Yeah, I love those. I love those old cartoons. Because, you know, the Bugs Bunny ones, they weren't preaching at you. They weren't, I don't know, I didn't get the same feeling out of those as you get from some of the others. Looking back when I was a kid, I didn't know the difference. I just liked them. Yeah, The Martian wasn't in that many. That was only like 3 or 4 episodes he was in. But like the Coyote and the Roadrunner, that went on all the time. And of course, Elmer Fudd, you know, out hunting, and he can't seem to shoot the rabbit. All right, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I'm going to call it in a few minutes here. Let me give you a chance to throw anything else in the chat room that you might have tonight. And I will watch for that to come in. Oh, I'm very tired. I got to go back to work tomorrow. Do you believe this shit? I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I mean, I like my job, don't get me wrong. It is a short week. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm off Thursday, Friday. No, wait a minute. I work Monday, Tuesday. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. And then I work Friday. And just to let everybody know, my host, Trey Radel, for my show that I've produced since day one, my host, Trey Radel, is hosting the Glenn Beck program the day after Christmas. Glenn has on guest fill-in hosts, and he's very picky on his fill-in hosts. And they contacted our station looking for Trey. We all met Glenn. He came to our station and spent the day with us back about 2 months ago. And we hit it off with him right away. He's a really nice guy. And we talked, and everything was great. And we sat down and had lunch and a whole bit. And what ended up coming out of it was they ended up calling, and they want Trey to fill in on the national radio show on 600 radio stations on the day after Christmas. So it's not a very listened to day, but still, it's going to be a huge day because we're going to be on a national radio show. And I will be producing in the studio, and I'll also have our engineer there as well. So we'll have a producer and an engineer sitting in the room while we're connected to New York on probably 2 different methods. And then we will produce the live end of the show, and they will produce the back end of the show. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've done this. I used to produce Dan Bongino when he would come over and do the. Do you remember before he had his show? He was doing the Mark Levin show all the time. You guys remember that? He was filling in for Mark day after day after day. I was producing those on the local end. He was coming here, and at 6 o'clock at night, I'd meet him outside at 5 o'clock and bring him in. This was before the drive. This was years ago. And he would produce, we would produce the Mark Levin show live, and I would produce the local half, and then New York would produce the back half. And I did that for a while. I've also produced Sean Hannity 2 or 3 times when he's come to town and needed a studio. And I produced the front end of his show before too. It's no big deal. It's something we do because we're in an area where Glenn comes down here from time to time. Sean Hannity actually has a home in Naples. Mark Levin's actually over on the other coast right over there. And Clay and Buck, I think one of them has already moved down here. They're all of these people are leaving New York and moving down here. That includes the talent, the personality, the people that worked on radio stations and stuff like that. You can do radio from anywhere now, and these people have decided I'm not doing it from New York. I'm not going to go somewhere where 57% of what I make goes to the government. I'm going to go down to Florida where only 37% of what I make goes to the government. Yeah, that's quite a skill. Rotating a rifle is a bit of a skill, definitely, for sure. Used to drink water from the hose too, and it didn't kill you. I'll tell you, down here in Florida, you had to let it run for a minute or it would make you sick. Because the green hoses, the old green hoses down here, would sit out in that 100-degree sun baking day after day. And then if you turned that water on and drank it right out of the hose, it would make you sick. But for the most part, as long as you just let it run for a minute, it's fine. I remember the old cap guns. Yeah, I mean, it was just different back then. It was a different time back then. Um, yeah, we sure did. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to call it now. I've been on for over 2 hours. I do appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night for another Sights and Sound show. And I'm going to be doing them right through Christmas Eve. And then on the Friday show, this coming Friday show, will be a road show. I will be traveling between here and Tampa during the 9 o'clock hour. So I will be live from the car on Friday night. So that's kind of the schedule. I'll be on every night this week, including Eve and Christmas Day evening at 9 p.m. for maybe what'll be a little shorter show. And then on Friday, I'll be coming from the car live. And then Saturday night, I'll be live from another location in the car, but I'll be able to do the full show. So that's kind of how it's going to go. We've got some, where I'm going to spend the weekend, we've got some big antennas up there now. So we're going to be able to hook up stuff and maybe make some calls and do some stuff up there. So I'm thinking Saturday night, this coming Saturday night, 6 days from now, we'll probably be able to put on like 40 meters and have you guys call and see if we can hear each other. We're going to have some good wires up that we can do stuff like that with. So that's going to be fun. All right. And don't forget to go POTA. I POTA'd today. I activated 3 parks, had 119 contacts. I've already got them sent to QRZ, Logbook of the World, and POTA. If you guys need help with any of that, I'd be glad to help you with the Ham2K Logger program or help you with the POTA website. I'm not the best at it because I do it intently for like a week, and then I don't do it for 3 months, and then I have to kind of remember what to do again. And that was kind of today when I went out. I was a little rusty for the first few minutes, and then I picked it right back up again. I'm really fast. QRZ, QRZ, QRZ. I mean, I can knock it out. At one site, I had 50 contacts. I had 50 contacts in 26 minutes. It wasn't bad at all. All right. And if anybody has FT8 working, I'll be doing more FT8 in the days to come. Let me know you're on FT8 20 meters, and I will go to FT8 20 meters, and we'll see if we can hear each other. I want to do some of that coming up. I also want to do some phone with my viewers. In other words, talk to each other on the radio and see if we can hear each other. I think that would be a fun project. To get to where we can start talking to each other when the conditions are correct. I think it'd be a lot of fun. All right, last call for the chat. Last call for the chat room. Does anybody have anything else before we go ahead and start to sign off here because it is getting late. Tomorrow is work day for a very short week. I only have Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and then I have a long ass day on Friday, and then I'm off Saturday, Sunday. So it is what it is. And then the following week, I think I'm off New Year's Day from work, but I'll probably have shows. And at this point, I'm not sure 100% yet, because I got to check with some people and see what's going on, but I'm relatively sure there'll be a live show New Year's Eve. We will be covering at least from 9 p.m. up until New Year's for the East Coast. We'll be covering at least the first 3 hours of New Year's. We'll see how it goes from there. So I'm planning on being here. You guys let everybody know that we're here. The numbers have kind of stagnated over the last month because there hasn't been any big breaking news going on. I'm actually starting to slip a little bit on subs. If there's anything you guys can do to get the word out about what I'm doing here, I'd appreciate it. I try very hard to put on a decent show every night, and I do really appreciate you guys and your loyalty. All right, I guess that's about it, everybody. I hope that your holiday season's going good so far, and we'll see how things go. Everything's going good with Mom. She'll be coming home day after tomorrow. She was counting the hours today. It's funny. She gets them laughing down there. She refers to it as she's being paroled. And they just laugh when she says that. She's like, oh, I get paroled in 2 days. I'm like, Mom, you can leave now if you want to. It's not a prison. Oh, well. She's doing better. Her house is pretty much ready for her to return. We ripped out her whole shower and put in one of those showers with no walls, so you can like wheel the wheelchair right into it and everything. And that makes the toilet completely accessible too. So that worked out good, and she'll be able to go home and have a quality of life. That's what it really comes down to. All right, and Daddy Kitty is hanging in there. He's doing fine. He did not want to stay in last night. He wanted to stay out. I let him stay out. He is still showing the signs and symptoms of a stroke. So I do believe that the cat had a stroke. I also know that cats can live a wonderful life after a stroke. So we're just going to keep right on living our lives like nothing happened, because he don't know the difference. He's probably already used to walking like a drunk by now. Don't drunks get used to that? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, all right, everybody. I hope that you guys have had a good day so far, a good weekend this weekend, and I hope that this coming week is fun for everybody. Short week with the holidays and everything. We'll see you back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name is Ian, and this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and I will see you guys on the next broadcast. This is Starship Adventures on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You guys have a great night out there, and we will see you later from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. Have a good night, everybody.
The sun.